Let's jump right into it. We got UFC 321. We haven't even spoke about this yet, so right now this is fresh off the press. Let's start off with the first fight of the night. Who was that? What's that guy's name? He got the knockout with a jab. You seen that?
Yeah, that was Alexander Rekid. Can't remember the guy that he lost to, but I believe the guy he lost to was a Russian guy. But he's not known for his grappling. He's known for his striking, and he went under the radar. Before this fight, he was 15-0. And I've seen him fight before, and he has really solid striking, but like he seems to have gone under the radar. When you think about the top guys in that division at 205, he never comes to mind.
Never.
Right?
I never even heard of this guy. I never heard of him in my life.
And for him to do what he did to Wreckage, he went all 3 rounds against Magomed Ankalaev. And he had some moments against Yuri. He actually won a round on Yuri when they fought. And then to get knocked out with a jab is crazy.
Alexander Rekid?
Alexander Wreckage. He went to decision with Magomed Ankalaev, and he won a round off of Yuri Prochazka when they fought. So for this guy to go in there and knock him out with a jab
In the first round?
In a first round, and in a fight that Wreckage had no moments at all. He did nothing.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, if you want to scale him by that, I mean, he's right up there with Ankalaev, with Yuri. He's ready to, like right now we put him against. We should put it. How do you pronounce his name? Azamat?
Azamat, yeah.
We could put Azamat right in there with maybe Khalil right next. Khalil,
that's what I was thinking. That's exactly the fight that I was thinking. I think he was calling for a number 1 contender fight. I don't think that he's there. I think he needs one more signature win before he gets a number 1 contendership. Because right now, we already know we got Allberg in the mix. We got Prochazka in the mix. Potentially Magomed in the mix for a title shot. So I think if you get past a Khalil Roundtree, then you're in the mix with those guys, right?
But it's pretty interesting, though, just because Alex Pieta is leaving the division. So
maybe. We don't know. Because if he does, but also we don't know if, like, he might just go to 205 and do a one-off. I mean, to heavyweight and do a one-off and then come back. We don't know.
He won't get a chip. As soon as he goes up, they're going to strip him.
It depends on the individual. It depends. Like, I think that if there's anybody that they're going to allow to keep that title, it will be Pereira, because he's so active and he's done so much for the company. No one has done more for the UFC in recent years than Alex Pereira.
But like I think it was a recent post that came out, and it said something about that he didn't want to cut the weight anymore. Like, he didn't know how much longer he wanted to cut that weight.
I mean, if that's the case, I mean, if he does relinquish the title and then make heavyweight his permanent home, then his next fight, this guy, I forgot his name again, but we're gonna remember his name real soon because he up there. But Azamat. So if Pereira does go permanently to heavyweight, and if his next fight is where it's gonna be not a one-off, it's gonna be a permanent stay at heavyweight, then this might be, if he fights Khalil Azamat,
that'll be a contender match.
Then that could be a number 1 contender fight. Right? Yeah. Against the winner of who competes for the vacant title.
Because who would fight for the title? It would be Yuri versus Ankalaev, I'm guessing?
Nah, it'd be Yuri versus Allberg. Allberg is, we can't look past Allberg. Like, you can't give Magomed the title over him when Magomed won the fight. He won the title in a close competitive fight that some people thought he lost in the first fight with Pereira, to then get knocked out in 80 seconds in the rematch. You need to work your way back up to a title shot. So
okay, you're not a fan of just giving people a rematch or a title shot immediately. Like, you want to work your way back up.
Exactly, especially with lackluster title reign. You can't do that.
So then we could do Khalil versus Azamat. That could be the number 1 contender spot right there.
Yeah, because as we know, every fighter needs that one signature win. We saw with Volkanovski back in the day. He went under the radar. Nobody knew who he was. And then he had that signature win against Chad Mendes. And then that's what started getting him on people's radar, right? We saw the same thing with Peter Yan, when he beat Jose Aldo. That was his signature win to get him on the map.
Nah, he was already on the radar before that. When he had beat Uriah Faber, he beat his
ass but Uriah Faber wasn't like... I still think that he wasn't he wasn't really on the map until we beat Aldo, in my opinion. Because come on, we can't really compare. Uriah Faber at that point was an old head.
I'm pretty sure he was already popular by the time he fought Aldo. He beat Aldo down, but like he was
yeah, but
already
I'm saying, but popular, I would say popular, or maybe not even popular. I would say known within the hardcore fan base. But
mm,
he didn't start to get a buzz outside of that fan base until he beat Jose Aldo. Because most people don't even know who Uriah Faber is unless you are a fan, a hardcore fan, fandom, like a hardcore fan of the sport.
yeah.
So I think that, but again, everybody needs that win. And I feel like this fight last night, yesterday afternoon against Wreck-It, that was his signature win. That was a guy that
Oh,
was
that was
he was ranked number 7. And he's competed, like I said, against Magomed, against Prohashka. That was his coming out party, essentially.
yeah, it was. Yeah, all right. So yeah, I mean that's it. We know who that guy is. No one knew who he was before that, but now we know. So definitely give him a title shot. I mean, a number one contender match because he's serious. 16-0 in that weight class. He's a good fighter, man. Yep. All right, so now we have Alexander Volkov versus Jelton Almeida. So who did you have winning going into that fight?
I mean, it was very like initially I kind of had Jelton Almeida winning just because, of the takedowns, the control on the ground.
No. So no, but going into the fight, like before the
Going
fight
into
happened.
the fight, I
Yeah.
had honestly, it was tough. I don't know because Jelton, other than the Curtis Blaze fight, I mean, no one has been able to stop what he does, right? It's a very one-dimensional game plan, a very one-dimensional style that he has, but no one has been able to stop it again outside of Curtis Blades. And Volkov does in the past, he struggled with, that type of style, he struggled with, stopping the takedown. He struggled with being able to get up off the ground when he does get taken down. So for that reasoning, I thought I might have leaned more towards Johnson. And essentially that's what we saw in the fight.
Agreed.
He took him down continuously. Volkov, although he did get up at times, but he had to really work hard for to get up off the ground, right? So I kind of had Jalton winning the fight just because of the takedowns and the ground control. But if you look at the new judging criteria, it's focused heavily on damage, right? And
Which is
Jalton
good.
didn't
It's good
really,
for the fans.
it's good for the fans. Jalton didn't do anything with the takedowns. But on the flip side, Volkov really didn't do anything himself either.
Yeah, I think it all boils down to that third round because I'm pretty sure that Volkov got the first round, right? He took over like midway through the first round and started beating on Jelton Almeida pretty bad. He kept going for that deep half position and wouldn't. That was
Yeah.
crazy to me. Like all these years of MMA experience, it's 2025. Like with all this wrestling knowledge and all this like knowledge of MMA, for somebody to sit there and try to fight for a deep half for 2.5, 3 minutes of a fight and
Yeah.
just get battered from like that to me is like you must be
Yeah.
living on a different planet to even that was
That's
crazy to me.
true.
Like that was wild. So he completely lost that first round. Got battered in the first round. The second round, Volkov, I think Almeida got him down and was able to pretty much kind of dominate that round, pretty much, right? The second
Yeah,
round.
yeah, yeah.
And then the third
This was
round,
if this was the old judging criteria, that might have been a 10-8 for Johnson, the second round.
yeah, I mean he dominated, but at least he got a 10-9 for sure. And in that third round, I guess we're still in the old criteria because it
Yeah.
looked like Jelton won the third round. But I guess I would have to go back and watch all the strikes that landed because I'm not I don't want to be one of the I'm trying to say that I agree that it should be like if you get a takedown you automatically win because I don't agree with that. I think it should be based on damage. But I just can't remember Volkov doing that much damage in the third round to even warrant him winning. You
That's
see
what
what I'm
I'm
saying?
saying. But also it's very contradicting because if we go back and we look at the Jose Aldo versus Mario Bautista fight, right? Bautista just held him against the fence and didn't really do anything, but he still got the win.
But did Aldo do anything to him though?
I would have to rewatch the fight, but I
Because
think
remember,
that, but I
damage
think,
is
but I think in a situation like that, if you're holding a guy against the fence and really doing nothing, or if you're just laying on top of a guy on the ground and really doing nothing, if your opponent at least throws 10 significant strikes in the span of 3, 5 rounds, wouldn't they win? Because at the very least, they inflicted more damage, so to speak.
well,
Because
that wouldn't mean that Bautista did nothing though. So And remember,
But
I think the way it works is if it's equal on the damage, then control comes in.
okay, but it's very confusing because it's just like this new judging criteria kind of gets a little bit confusing to me because then if because I feel like we'll talk about the next fight, but the Umar and Bautista, I mean, I feel like Mario did more damage in that fight. So it's like I feel like it's very inconsistent.
Would
How
do
are
you
they
think it should go
judging?
back to the way it used to be, or do you?
It's just very confusing. It's like you get one fight where it looks like Jalton should have won, but he lost. But then you look at another fight that played out pretty similar, and the guy who seemed to do less damage strike wise won. It's like it just feels
So it's
very
the consistency
inconsistent.
that you don't like.
Yeah, I don't understand how they're judging fights exactly. They tell us how they judge it now, but then when you watch the fights, it kind of contradicts from fight to fight.
That's why I always feel like this is me personally. I know people hate draws, but I think you should give out draws. I feel like if there's no clear winner, it's a draw. Somebody has to get beat up for it to be like you won the fight, because all this like, it was a robbery. That's kind of annoying. Like, how long are we gonna keep playing this? He was robbed. She was robbed game. Like, let's just,
Yeah.
if somebody doesn't get beat up, it was a damn draw. You don't get to show or you don't get your win money, or I mean, I don't think you should have to get paid showing win honestly either. I think you should get your check as soon as you show up. But you gotta, if you want to win, if you want to get like a extra bonus or something like that, you have to beat the guy up. That's it.
Exactly. But I feel like just like with with 10-8 rounds, they're afraid to give them. They're afraid to give draws, and they're afraid to give 10-8 rounds. They're afraid to
Or
take
9-9,
away
9-9, say 9-9. Like,
yeah, and they're afraid to take away points from fouls. They're just afraid to do a lot of different things that they're supposed to be doing. So that's where the just the annoyance comes from. But
so overall, you think Jalton won that fight as well, though?
I thought Jalton won the fight. I think close fight, but I don't think Volkov did that
He
much
got round one. That was it.
damage to warrant a victory. And somebody made a joke because when Volkov fought Cyril Gane, the
He got
rematch,
robbed.
he got robbed. I don't know if he got robbed. It was a very close fight, but people say he got robbed. And then Dana said in the
Come on.
post conference, he was like, "I'm gonna make this right." So now the joke is going around is that this is how Dana got it right.
It's funny because as soon as I seen that, that's what I thought to myself. I thought to myself, well, he got robbed in the last one, so it's only right that he gets the winning. He gets it on this one.
And then I was seeing comments on Instagram. People was like, when a robbery goes right.
The thing is for me is I've won split decisions,
Yeah.
and then I've lost a split decision, and my thought process was that too. Like, well, I was on the right side. I was on the other side of a split before too, so you can't cry when you're on this side of the split.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna be happy when you win, don't be mad when you just take it.
Yeah,
it is what it
exactly.
is. So Jalton he'll bounce back anyway. I think he has holes in his game that he has to work on anyways. I think that strictly jiu-jitsu style is kind of dookie.
I think the
he
reason
has-
why it's been working for him thus far is because when you look at the heavyweight division, there's really no good grapplers.
kind of almost always kind of been that way. There's always been a few, but yeah, like
Exactly.
you're gonna dominate up there.
But right now in the top 10, there's really nobody. So that's the reason why that style has been successful for Jalton. But when you get a guy who has really good takedown defense, that's when you're gonna, run to some trouble because Jalton's striking is garbage. So
trash.
if you can stuff his takedowns, that's where the problem is gonna be. But so far, no one has really been able to do that. But I think there's some guys that can. He just hasn't fought them.
Yeah, I think Alex could go up there and beat him up. I think there's guys that could beat him. All right, so let's move on to Umar Nurmagomedov versus Mario Batista. Good fight. Going into this fight, I wanted my man Mario to win. I'm biased. I'll be hating on the Dagestanis. I wanted Mario to win. Me personally, a lot of people hate on Mario. I think he's a great fighter. I mean, if you're able to hold up Jose Aldo against the wall, that's still an impressive feat to even be able to do that for 3 rounds. If you're able to dominate Patchy Mix, I know it might not sound like much these days, but in his perspective, put yourself in Batista's shoes. He fought Jose Aldo, which is like the biggest fight of his life. And then he was going against Patchy Mix, who's supposed to be the underground best fighter in the world. Everyone was touting him to be the best fighter there was at 135. So he fought them back to back and beat them both. Coming into this fight, I think Batista is a great fighter. And it didn't go that, he didn't win this fight, but I actually thought he proved that he is an amazing fighter. He's up there with the best of the best at 135 pounds. Who did you have going into this fight? Who did you think was going to win?
I felt like Umar was gonna win, but I agree with what you said. Like, although Batista didn't win, but he showed he belongs. He
Oh
showed
yeah, that's
that he
that. Yeah,
belongs in that top 5, that top 3. He showed he's a championship caliber, fighter. To make Umar work that hard, we've only ever seen one person do that, which is Marab, the champion, right? Nobody has been able to make Umar work that hard, right? Outside of, again, the champion. And then to drop him, to time
good job.
that kick. It wasn't really a kick that he was throwing, but he timed it so perfectly as Umar was shooting that he landed with the knee and dropped him. Umar did a good job at recovering, but that visual is just like, that in itself is a big feat, because no one has done that to Umar. I mean, one time, but Umar, I forgot who it was against, but Umar went and got the takedown immediately on the guy after he got hurt.
Yeah, you're
Umar
talking
could,
about that dude that came over from another organization. Yeah, I know what you're
yeah,
talking about.
but Umar couldn't. He recovered quickly, but he couldn't get one back immediately after, like he did in that previous fight, right? Like, Batista showed that he truly belonged. Batista showed that his level up, and it almost seems like in a short period of time. Like, Mario's been around for a while now, but like these last couple fights, he's really showed who he is as a fighter. And I think that if they rematch again, I'm not so sure that Umar comes out of there as a victor, right?
I'd like to see them fight for 5 though. I think in 3 rounds, Umar might be able to do the same thing. I don't think there's many people. I don't even know if Marab could beat Umar in 3. I think you
But
need that 5 rounds to make him work so that you can start to wear on him more. Because Bautista, he's got that Mexican gritty style,
yeah,
and he wasn't tired. I mean, even if he was tired in that 3rd, he was working hard.
yeah.
So I think it was only going to get worse.
I mean, Umar, if you like listen to him when he was doing this post fight interview, he was gassed. He was struggling to talk.
He's in 3 rounds. He's
He's
going to be
strong.
hard to beat, man. It's going to be hard to beat in 3, but I think in that 5, Batista can wear him down. I had the fight pretty much 2-1, right? I had Batista winning the 2nd round and Umar winning the 1st and the 3rd. But it was just kind of annoying. I'm not gonna lie, like, Umar's style is very hard to get past because he does this, like, he moves away and counters,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you don't know if it's gonna be a counter strike or a counter takedown. You don't know which one is, because he's constantly shooting, constantly. And like you said, it wasn't very much damage. It was just a lot of control. Like, he's not like ground and pounding you out, but he's like giving it everything he has to make sure he holds you down. Like, he's like deathly afraid of you getting up or something like that. Like,
Yeah. And I think especially after he got dropped by that knee, I think he was more hesitant to strike with him and stay on the feet with him. But if we're gonna talk about damage, right? Didn't Mario have the advantage in the damage department?
I mean, because what did Umar even do in the damage department in the whole
He really
fight? I
didn't
mean,
do
he landed
anything.
some cross.
So that's my confusion right there. How did Volkov beat Almeida, but then Umar beat Bautista? And the reasoning
Well, I think
that,
because what you're saying would only make sense. Can you hear me?
yeah, I hear you.
What you're saying would only make sense if they scored it by the story of the entire fight. But because it's judged round by round, well, he only won the 2nd round because of that. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, if it was a whole one picture, Bautista won. Who did
I'm
damage? Who
saying,
hurt
but
who?
how was that any different from the Volkov and Almeida? Outside of the first round, Volkov didn't, I don't think he won round 2 or 3. He didn't do anything in round 2 or 3 to win those. So how did he win
Yeah.
the fight? It's a similar
It was a split,
situation.
though. Yeah, it was split. Silly.
But that's what I'm saying. It's a similar
Yeah,
situation.
you know what else is crazy too? If you really think about round 1 with Umar versus Batista, if you really think about it, there wasn't really much damage done. But Umar almost got his foot broken off in that submission attempt.
Exactly.
So if you want to get technical, that was damaged. I mean, that was the closest the fight got to being stopped, besides the knee. The 2 times the fight could have got stopped was by Batista doing something to Umar.
Exactly.
So if you really get technical, you could say he got the first round.
That's what I'm saying. So Bautista, if we're comparing both fights, Bautista clearly inflicted more damage to Umar than Volkov inflicted to Almeida. So same judges, right? Same 3 judges for both fights, and yet, like, you have 2 similar fights, and one guy won that was not initiating in the grappling, and then in this fight, the guy who was initiating the grappling won. I have heard
Well, you got to
from a lot of fighters.
where did this fight take place?
That's what I'm about to get at. I heard from a lot of fighters that although the judges are the same judges that they select in America, because they just come over, but because of the where they're at, the region that they're at, there's some favoritism towards the Muslim fighters, and that's the reason why a lot of American fighters or non-Muslim fighters want to fight there, and there's a reason why all the Muslim fighters want to fight there. There's a lot of like, weird shit that go on.
That's what I thought about. I'm like, well, you got to think about who's the judge. I mean, where are they? They're in Abu Dhabi, right?
Yeah, Abu Dhabi. So yeah,
and they're over there. His brother just fought there last week, didn't he?
And supposedly they're saying that he might have lost the rematch against Paul Hughes as well, because it was a close fight just like the first one. And then my only question is, why would you accept the rematch in the same place that you got robbed to then get robbed again? You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
He's trying to be like a company man. He's trying to be, but like you can't.
You gotta think about yourself. You gotta be selfish
in this sport, man. Because now when he's getting ready to, if he wants to go to the UFC or something like that, he has those. You guys like that's not gonna help his case. Like he's gonna go, but like his check is not gonna be what it could have been had he won against Nurmagomedov.
Exactly.
So here, where do you think Umar and Batista go from here? For me personally, I think Umar only has one person he can fight after this. Who do you think I'm gonna guess?
It's Merab. It has to be Merab, in my opinion. If it's not Merab, then if it's not Merab.
Not Merab. All right, just tell me why you think he should fight Merab. Unless you haven't really thought this through.
I mean, me personally, I think he should fight Merab just because that was Merab's close. I feel like that was his toughest fight. Thus far, that was Merab's toughest fight. And we have to take in consideration, would it have played out any differently? I don't know, but Umar did break his hand. So that did that was a handicap that he had to deal with in the fight, where he wasn't able to maybe he wasn't able to perform the way he could have.
Merab wasn't able to train the way he wanted to because Merab had an injury. So,
but there you go. You're just building my case and why I think that fight should happen. You had two guys that wasn't 100%, and it was still a very competitive fight overall. So I would like to see that fight play out again with two guys that understand each other better now and could hopefully go into the fight with very minimal injury, because you're always going to be injured or have some sort of injury going into a fight. But if it's not Merab, I would like to see a rematch with Corey Sandhagen.
Nah, that goes the same way. It goes the same way again. All right, so boom. Let me just go ahead and shut all that down real quick. All right. So
okay, who you got?
Before I tell you who he should fight, let me tell you why him versus Merab shouldn't happen. He just lost to Merab. He has one fight. Like I thought we should work our way back up a little bit. Not just go in one fight and come back and fight again. Nah, that's trash. Also,
but if he gets past Petr Yan, then who does he fight? He beat everybody.
That is a problem. You're right. That is a problem because it leaves him okay, she's just slapping people over and over and over at this point. But the thing is that if they fight again, Merab was kind of scared the first fight. Let's be real. He was a little bit scared. He was fighting Umar Nurmagomedov. Umar has this hype around him and things like that.
Yeah.
I think going into this next one, he's going to be confident. He's going to be like, I already know you don't have the gas to hang with me.
Yeah.
You can say your hand was broken all you want, but your hand didn't make you gas out. You gassed.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to go in there more confident than before. And he's going to put it on him, pressure. He's going to make him work. Because we already know Umar can't go hard for 5. He can't. Because look, and there's no shade to him. The thing is that you're born with a certain amount of conditioning. Like you're born with a peak. And Merab's peak, we don't even know what it is, but regardless of what it is, his pace is different. Umar, if he tries to keep, the only chance that Umar would have is if he tried his best to stop grappling. Don't grapple. Do not shoot, don't grapple, work long-range striking, move your feet and try to outstrike him. If you engage in a grappling wrestling match with Merab, he's going to gash you, he's going to beat you easier because this time, he's not going to go out there scared like he was last time. He's going to have more of the temperament that he had when he fought against Sean O'Malley. When he fought against Sean O'Malley, he was confident the second time.
Yeah.
He brought it to him. I already know you. I think it's going to be the same thing if he fights against Merab. He's going to get dominated the second time around. I think it's going to be worse than the first. He'll put up a valiant effort, but it's not going to go his way. But with that being said, who I think he should fight next is only one person, and it's Petr Yan. Regardless of if Petr Yan wins or loses.
Okay.
If Petr Yan loses, perfect. You have to fight Petr Yan to get your title shot. Perfect. If Petr Yan wins, go ahead. Congratulations, you got a title shot.
Okay.
You fight Petr Yan next. It's the only person you fight next. Petr Yan. Petr Yan's going to give him a hell of a matchup. I think he can beat Petr Yan. I'm not saying, I think Petr Yan gives him, the thing about Petr Yan is this. Petr Yan has 5-round cardio. You're going to fight. for 5 rounds. But Peter Yan can be out-wrestled. He can be out-wrestled. He can be like held down and, his back taken and things like that. But if for whatever reason you have a hard time getting him down or you can't hold him down, you're going to have a long night because he will gas you out too. He couldn't gas out Merab because Merab can go forever.
Yeah.
But that's not Umar. What do you think about that? What do you think about him being his only option next?
I mean, that is a good, that's a compelling match. They haven't
He
fought
ducked
yet.
him last time. He ducked him.
Yeah, they haven't fought yet, so I would like to see that fight. And I think Peter Yan, I mean, at one point, I was saying he was never going to lose. At one point, I said I can't see nobody beating Peter Yan. You know what I'm saying? That was me at one point. And honestly, he in that division, he's the guy that I like watching the most. Just his style, it's just beautiful. And in him in a 5-round, he's even better because he could take his time. He could download data in that first round. He can kind of give it away. He has the freedom to take his time and to be a little bit more methodical than he usually is. Whereas in a 3-rounder, he has to kind of pick up the pace a little quicker. So I think that potentially could be a nightmare matchup for Umar because we know, like you said, Umar is a 3-rounder in terms of cardio, right? He doesn't have the conditioning to go to 5. And does he even have the ability to be able to pace himself to kind of have somewhat of a tank in that, that 4th, 5th round? We don't know if he has that ability. We don't know if he has the ability to slow the fight down and
I don't think he would
compose
want
himself.
to, though. If he does, what happens to him with Umar with Peter Yan on his ass? You can't pace yourself against
Exactly.
Peter Yan. He's on your ass with a belt.
Peter Yan is literally the Terminator, bro. He has laser
on your
focus.
like
When we talk about tunnel vision, there's nobody that has tunnel vision like Peter Yan. He is so laser focused in the fight. So I think, and it's crazy that I didn't even think about that fight. Maybe I didn't think about the fight because he's already fighting Merab, and if he loses, I didn't even think of that as a possibility. But I mean, that's a really good matchup. I would love to see that, and it has to be a 5-rounder. Don't put that in no 3-round co-main event on a pay-per-view. That has to be a 5-round fight night event, right?
Or you can make it a co-main event 5-round in a pay-per-view.
But they don't do that often, though. They really don't even do that.
Like,
they do it for like
non-title
big
fights?
names, like big like stars, like they did it for Nick Diaz. They do it for a select few guys. I don't see them doing it for that fight. So I think it has to be a fight night card main event. So that way it has to be a 5-rounder. Because if it's not a 5-rounder, I really don't want to see it. Because
Umar's gonna win in 3.
Yeah, I don't want to see it if
Probably.
it's a 3-rounder. Make it a 5-round, and I'm in. I think that's the one to make. I think so. Yeah, that's a good one, man.
That 4th and 5th round, Peter Yan's gonna be on his ass.
Definitely
ass. Like he's gonna be hunting him down. It's gonna be like.
So yeah, that's.
They have this desperate look about him. You know what I'm talking about? Like that little scary, desperate look.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great fight. I wanted to see that fight real bad, and he ducked him, and he had to fight against McGee.
Yeah,
but I wanted to see that fight. So, I think regardless of how it goes, in my opinion, I don't really see Peter Yan being able to do anything stylistically against Merab. Merab's style is just so good.
The only thing that could potentially work against Merab is the activity. Different weight class, different fighter. But historically, when you have a guy who's, whether he's a champion or not a champion, historically, when you have a fighter who's ultrally active to where he's fighting 4 or 5 times in a single calendar year, that those training camps start to wear on you. Not the fights, but the training camps, the preparation, the constant cutting of weight. Like that starts to get to you, right? We saw it happen to Alex Pereira when he lost to Magomed the first time. He then came back after a 6-month layoff, rejuvenated, and then, handled business in 80 seconds. So that consistency, that constant fighting, that, training camp after training camp, weight cut after weight cut, that's going to be what could potentially work against Merab in this fight. Will it? I don't know. But if there's anything that could potentially work against him, it wouldn't be the fight. It will be just everything he went through in all these training camps.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I do think that he has like a special. He's one of those dudes like, coming up in the hood, you'll see some like you'll see some like Spanish dudes that kind of just work. They're like workaholics. They just work all the time.
Yeah, of course.
He gives me that kind of energy. Like he's just like this worker, like this worker horse, like this workhorse,
And
just
they be broken down
nonstop
too,
working.
man. They be broken down too.
And they just be working. You get them with little cigarettes. They working. And I kind of get that vibe from Merab. I feel like he's gonna be a hard worker regardless. It wouldn't be his mental. It would definitely just be if his body's just legit breaking down on
That's
him.
what I'm saying.
So
It's not a mental thing.
For now, it doesn't look like he's breaking down, you know, but he is older. So let's just see. I mean, I think regardless, after he wins this fight, say hypothetically, if he wins this fight against Purian and then wins again against Umar, I mean, what is there to do at that point? Like,
At that point,
fight Batista just because, or like, do you just move up? Like, you
at
gotta do
that point,
something.
if you want to continue fighting, and you want some new challenges, you want more competitiveness, like you're gonna have to move up. But if you stick around at 35, you're just gonna continue to fight the same guys because there's nobody new coming up yet.
Yeah.
At that point, why are you even fighting? Because you beat these guys. The fights that they wasn't really competitive outside the Umar fight, none of them were competitive. So, like, if you want to continue fighting, I would suggest moving up, because then when you move up, there's a new set of challenges. There's that aspect of danger that you don't really have anymore at 35. And as a fighter, that's what you want. You want something to get you up in the morning,
Push you.
to push you. Otherwise, if you know it's going to be a walk in the park, why even do it anymore? You know what I'm saying? Because at that point, you're just collecting a check and you don't really need it. You know what I'm saying? Marab seems like a guy to me. He's not into frivolous things, right? He seems like a really simple guy.
Money.
He's a simple guy. He's worth a lot of money. So it's like, you don't need the fight if it's just for the money, you know?
Yeah, I agree, man. I think he should move up next. So now we got Vimma versus Mackenzie Dern.
I don't really care about that fight, honestly. I'll be honest with you, I don't care about that fight. I was falling asleep during that fight. Bro, I was hoping the fight ended. I knew it was wishful thinking, but I really hoped the fight ended soon. But we got 5 rounds and it was competitive. They was going back and forth, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not a fan of either of them. And to be honest, they were only in that position because Wei Li moved on to bigger and better things, right? She wanted to challenge herself.
Literally.
But had she still been the champion, none of them girls would have probably gotten a title shot. And if they did, none of them would have been able to sniff gold. The closest they would have got to the title is when they did the face-off at the weigh-ins when Wei Li was holding the belt. Outside of that, they would have never got close to the title. So it's like, you guys are paper champ. Like, Dern is a talented fighter, but I can't take you serious as a champion because you got it off of technicality, like off of a situation, right? And it was just like,
time and chance. Like, she just got time and chance on her side.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, but I didn't really care about the fight. I mean, I feel like we could just move on from it. It was a cool fight, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But that was like my bathroom break, if I'm being honest.
I'll give honorable mention. I did think both of them had good cardio. None of them seemed to get tired. No. And they did, they threw a lot of punches and fought their little hearts out. So they fought hard. So I would just say that, I don't care. I didn't care for it either, but they did fight hard from what I saw of it. I'm not going to act like I sat there and I watched the whole thing. From what I saw, they fought hard. So,
and I feel like we already spent too much time talking about that fight. Let's move on to the main event. That's what
we disrespecting the audience.
They didn't even care about the fight.
All right, so now let's get into Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane.
Listen,
going into the fight, I thought Cyril Gane was going to get ran over. It didn't play out that way. I thought Cyril Gane was winning the fight. What do you think?
Cyril Gane.
Going into the fight, who did you have winning?
Me personally, I don't know, man. I'm different, man. I felt like Cyril Gane could have won because going into the fight, I was going towards Cyril Gane just because when you talk about, they make a big point in talking about Tom Aspinall's movement, how he has some of the best movement in heavyweight, right? I don't think his movement is that good. He's very fast.
It's not all that.
He's fast,
yeah.
But he doesn't cut angles. He doesn't move laterally. Cyril Gane cuts angles. Cyril Gane moves laterally, right? So I just felt like Cyril Gane's movement was going to be too much for Tom Aspinall, and that's exactly what we saw, right? Cyril Gane was light on his feet like he always is. He was moving laterally. I feel like I feel like although significant strikes say he landed 27 and Gane landed 30, which I don't even know how he landed 27, but if let's say those numbers are correct and he actually landed 27 significant strikes, Tom Aspinall, there's a difference. Not all strikes are created equal. Cyril Gane's significant strikes were damaging. Bro busted his nose with a
Busted
jab
his nose. What? Instant. Yeah.
instantly with a jab, and that jab was landing that whole round, bro. Nothing Tom Aspinall landed did anything. At least visibly, it didn't do anything, right? And Cyril Gane, I just feel like what he was doing was frustrating Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall shot for a takedown, and Cyril Gane stopped it. And that was a big point that people were talking about going into the fight. They were saying that he's
Same.
susceptible to
Yeah.
takedowns. Aspinall's going to take him down. But if you really think about it, we've seen nothing from Aspinall to suggest that he's a high-level grappler. We've seen nothing. So to come in with that narrative, I feel like it was kind of disrespectful. And then this was a long time ago, right? But one of Aspinall's losses, he lost against a guy who was significantly smaller than him. And he lost due to grappling. He got out grappled for the whole 3 rounds against a smaller guy. He was essentially fighting a 205er. You know, it was one of his forgot what promotion it was, but it was one of his losses, and he got out grappled. So I never subscribed to him being a good grappler. And I think if anything, Cyril Gane's takedown defense is underrated because he lost to Francis Ngannou, who's a freak athlete, and because he lost to John Jones, who everybody loses to John Jones, right? So that's not a really good indicator on his grappling or lack thereof. You know what I'm saying? But honestly, bro, I'm mad that the fight ended the way it ended, but Aspinall didn't look like he wanted to be in there, in my opinion. I feel like
That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, yo, after that first takedown stoppage, I felt like he looks like the kind of guy that if things are not going his way, he doesn't want to be there anymore. That's the kind of guy he looks like. He looks like if I'm not the bully, I don't want to be here. And when
exactly.
when that takedown got stopped, he just has like it looks like a look on his face. Like he just didn't look confident. He didn't look like he really wanted to be there. Like when he got poked in the eye,
because
he's crying. Like he was like,
he realized that the fight was harder than he thought it was going to be. He thought he was going to just steamroll him. And when he realized, and maybe he was looking at the Jones fight against Cyril Gane, he maybe was looking at that fight because he truly believes that he's better than Jones, right? Tom Aspinall believes that.
which
And
is
maybe
something we got to touch on.
he looked at that fight, he was like, if Jones can do that to him, I could do that shit too. And when he found out that he couldn't do that, when he found out that Cyril Gane was a lot better than he maybe anticipated, and when he realized that, holy shit, I'm actually fighting a guy that actually has good movement. They say I got good movement, and maybe I thought I did, but I'm actually fighting a guy with actually good movement, a guy who's actually fast, a guy with actually good boxing, right?
Yeah.
I think he was
dominating. He was dominating.
Bro, Cyril Gane is nasty, bro. And I've been saying it for the longest. Like, Cyril Gane is really freaking good, man. He turned Francis into a grappler. That's how good he is on the feet, right? And then in terms of the power, that was a big point that people were talking about, Aspinall's power. But if you think about it, Cyril Gane, he's seen that before. He fought Derek Lewis. He fought Francis. He's fought power punchers. But Tom Aspinall never fought a guy as elusive and light on his feet as Cyril Gane.
Now, do you think that eye poke was legit? Do you feel like he could have kept fighting if he wanted to, or you think he was being like a little punk ass?
Man,
like
he was being a
you
bitch,
think he was on
bro.
Aljamain Sterling vibes?
He was, yeah, bro. He was trying to get an Academy Award because if you think about it, the eye that he was holding, the finger didn't even puncture it. It was like this.
It was this eye. It was the opposite eye, right?
The opposite eye that was wide open that he was seeing with perfectly is the one that got knuckle deep. The eye that he was covering, the eyelid was shut and the finger was upright like this. But that was the eye he was covering. So it just didn't make any sense. It was very like the whole situation was very like suspect. Like the eye that visibly got knuckle deep, you were seeing with it fine. And then when the doctor was trying to look at his eye,
perfectly fine.
He would not want to move the towel. The doctor was telling him to move the towel. And he would not do it. So that right there was a little suspect. And then the doctor also told him when he finally saw the eye, the doctor said, nothing seems damaging, nothing looks bad, he can continue. The doctor said that to him. He said the eye looks fine. And he did not want to continue. And then like, it was just like, I feel like he was milking it, man. He could have fought. I think personally, the fight played out difficult, more difficult than he thought. Maybe his nose was really busted up. Maybe it wasn't just a visible damage. Maybe it was broken, his nose.
I
I
think
don't
he went
know.
into the fight obviously with a hurt nose. He went into the fight with a hurt nose because your nose shouldn't bleed that fast. I've went
Yeah.
into a fight with a hurt nose before, and my nose started bleeding pretty quickly. So he
But that's
probably
what
was
I'm
just like, you know
saying.
what? I can't breathe. This is harder than I thought. Let me just go ahead and just end this fight real quick. Go back to camp, come back with a better nose, and try again.
That's what I'm thinking too, man,
But
because man, like
let's talk about this though. John Jones disposed of Gane easily,
easily.
and
Yes.
Aspinall was out
Struggling.
there looking like a deer in the headlights.
And I feel like
I think John Jones goes in there and does something real bad to Aspinall.
I think so too. But then also people were saying, I seen like this narrative, people were saying that was just the first round. Maybe it could have played out differently. When you're 265 pounds, you are your best in that first round. You don't get better in round 2, 3, 4, 5 when you are walking around at 265. And then when you have to work
And
harder.
you have no 5-round experience.
Exactly. So you don't get better in those circumstances. You get worse. Gane, we've seen him
he doesn't have
fight 5 rounds. Gane has 5-round, experience. We know he can go 5 rounds. We know he has the cardio to do so because we saw it. Tom, we never seen it.
And he did it against scary guys.
Yeah, exactly. But John Jones, he does some real bad things to Tom Aspinall. You know what's funny? Everybody's jumping back on the Jones bandwagon. Before this fight, everybody was saying Jones is scared, this, and that. Now, if you look at the comments of every post of that fight, it's all, John Jones will do him filthy. Like, it's crazy how quick the narrative changes. Those same people that was...
Like, do you think John Jones is kind of... Do you think John Jones is, like, scared of him? Like, what's the deal?
I don't think
like,
John Jones was scared.
Maybe he was like...
I feel like now you have to take him at his word. John Jones said that I don't feel like it's a challenge to me. I'm not fighting if it doesn't motivate me. And he said Tom doesn't motivate me. So now you kind of have to take him at his word based on how this fight played out, how Tom Aspinall was doing. You kind of have to take him at his word. Maybe John Jones saw something that we didn't see. He's been doing it for so long at a high level. Maybe he saw something that we didn't see. And that's why he didn't view him as a challenge.
And you know
that's
what's crazy?
Why he didn't...
Well, I was going to say, it's like, it was crazy is that even if he did fight Tom Aspinall and beat him, that does absolutely nothing for his career. Like,
it does nothing.
Nothing changes for him.
Exactly. But it changes a lot for Aspinall if he wins.
At least for Alex Pieta, though, it doesn't help him. Because honestly, I don't think anybody really thinks it's going to be that competitive. But it's a really big fight that's exciting for the moment.
Exactly.
It doesn't change his legacy at all. But for the moment, it's a big moment. Very exciting for the fans. Everyone's going to tune in. John Jones is going to make a boatload of money. So it's good for him financially and for the moment. His legacy is already, I think it's kind of already cemented. There's nothing you really can do about that legacy.
Yeah.
So there's no one you can fight at this point. Nothing's going to change for you. But the money, it is in that fight.
Exactly.
You agree with that?
I agree with that, yeah. And then also, you will be beating a 2-division champion. You'll have a 2-division champion on your resume, right? Fighting Tom Aspinall would be not much different than fighting a Dominic Reyes, a Anthony Smith. And that's what John Jones said. He said, Tom is not this star that you guys are making him out to be. He's not a star. He's not a draw. He's not even at the time, he wasn't really a household name. The only reason why people were talking about Tom so much is because of the connection with John Jones.
Yeah. Take away John Jones.
No one will be talking about him, right? So there was nothing to get Jones motivated for that fight. So again, maybe John Jones saw something that most of us did not see, which is why he didn't take the fight.
And if anything, I feel like it's a blessing for Tom Aspinall because his name grew a lot throughout all this. If it wasn't for John Jones, no one knows who he is. So
exactly.
There you have it. There you go. Hey, so yeah, we'll be back up here for the next card for the New York Islam card coming up soon. Yes, sir.